Listen to me, success will cost you something. It will not knock on your door and ask politely to come in. No, it will stand on a high mountain behind walls and dare you to climb. And only those willing to lay something down will ever touch it. You see, we live in a world that wants reward without work, crowns without crosses, victory without valleys. But there is no shortcut to destiny. The path to the top always runs straight through the place called sacrifice. And if you can grasp this truth today, your life will never be the same. Stay with me, because before this moment is over, I am going to show you exactly why what you let go of today will be the very thing that lifts you up tomorrow. Quote, every great life you admire, every success story that inspires you, is built on the unseen foundation of sacrifice. You don't see the late nights, the tears, the opportunities they said no to, the comfort they walked away from. You only see the harvest, not the plowing. But make no mistake, every seed of success was planted in the soil of sacrifice. Think about it, the athlete sacrifices pleasure for discipline, the leader sacrifices popularity for principle, the visionary sacrifices security for the pursuit of the impossible. And in each case, the sacrifice wasn't a loss, it was an investment. What they gave up was nothing compared to what they gained. But here's the challenge, sacrifice is never easy, because it always demands the thing you love. It asks for your time when you'd rather rest, your resources when you'd rather spend on yourself, your pride when you'd rather be right. And yet, if you're willing to give it, the doors that were once locked will swing wide open. Some of you are standing on the edge of your greatest opportunity, but the bridge to it is built with the wood of sacrifice. Until you lay something down, you cannot step across. Success will not follow you into your comfort zone. It waits for you outside it. So today, I challenge you to decide what you're willing to release. Maybe it's a habit that's holding you back. Maybe it's a relationship that drains your purpose. Maybe it's the endless hours of distraction that rob your vision. Whatever it is, place it on the altar, because the moment you let it go is the moment you give permission for greatness to enter. CeeLo sings, success demands sacrifice, not because the universe is cruel, but because it's wise. It knows that the person who is willing to give everything for their dream is the only one worthy to carry it. So I ask you, what will you give today so you can live tomorrow? Your future is waiting, your destiny is watching, and the choice is in your hands. There is no promised land without a wilderness. You cannot taste milk and honey until you have walked through sand and heat. Every person who has ever reached the place of fulfillment, purpose, and abundance has first been tested in the dry, lonely, and difficult places. The wilderness is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is the proving ground where faith is refined, where weakness is exposed, and where strength is forged. We all dream of the promised land, the place where our goals are met, our battles are over, and our harvest is plentiful. But the reality is this, before you can stand in that land, you must survive the land that looks like nothing is happening, where the road seems endless, and where every step demands effort. The wilderness is that season of your life when doors seem closed, when prayers seem unanswered, when you feel like you've been left alone to figure it out. But let me tell you, you are not abandoned in the wilderness. You are being equipped in it. The wilderness strips away the excess. It takes from you the things you thought you needed, so you can discover the things you actually need. It teaches you to trust, to endure, to depend on something greater than yourself. When you look at the greatest men and women in history, whether in the pages of Scripture or in the pages of modern history, you will find a wilderness between their calling and their crowning. Moses had to lead sheep for 40 years before he could lead people for 40 more. David had to hide in caves before he could sit on a throne. Even the greatest leaders and innovators of our time had seasons when nobody knew their name, when nobody clapped for them, when their dreams looked like they were dying. But those were not wasted years. Those were the wilderness years, shaping them into the kind of person who could handle the weight of the promised land. See, the promised land is not just about receiving blessings. It's about having the character to hold on to them. If you enter it too soon, you will lose it as quickly as you gained it. That's why the wilderness is essential. It's the classroom where humility is learned, where resilience is built, and where vision is clarified. In the wilderness, you are forced to let go of the comfort of the familiar. You have to walk away from Egypt before you can set foot in Canaan. And Egypt, for some of us, is not a place on the map. It's a mindset, it's a habit, it's the false security we cling to. You may look around right now and feel like you are going in circles, just like the Israelites wandered for 40 years. You might be asking, why am I still here? Why hasn't the breakthrough come? But maybe the better question is, what am I meant to learn here? What am I meant to shed here? Who am I becoming here? Because the wilderness is not meant to kill you. It is meant to kill what will kill you when you reach your promise. If pride would destroy you there, it will be humbled here. If fear would stop you there, it will be conquered here. The wilderness teaches discipline. In the promised land, you might have abundance, but in the wilderness, you learn to value every drop, every crumb, every opportunity. In the promised land, you may feast, but in the wilderness, you learn how to fast and keep moving forward. In the promised land, you may stand tall in victory, but in the wilderness, you learn to kneel and surrender. The skills, the values, the mindset you acquire in the wilderness are the very things that will sustain you when you arrive. We live in a culture that despises the wilderness. Everybody wants instant results, overnight success, and quick escapes from difficulty. But shortcuts in the journey often mean shortfalls in the outcome. If you skip the wilderness, you skip the transformation. And without transformation, the promised land will only expose the cracks in your foundation. That's why the wilderness is not a detour. It is part of the direct route. God doesn't just want you to reach the destination. He wants you to be the kind of person who can thrive once you get there. You may be in your wilderness right now. You might be facing financial strain, relational challenges, personal struggles, or deep uncertainty about the future. You may feel unseen, unappreciated, and unrecognized, but let me encourage you, this is not the end of the story. The wilderness is not permanent. It is a season, and seasons change. The same God who led you in will lead you out. But when you come out, you will not be the same person who went in. You will come out stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the promise ahead. Do not waste your wilderness. Do not spend all your energy complaining about where you are when you could be preparing for where you're going. Lift your head and look around. There are lessons in this place that you cannot learn anywhere else. There is clarity here that you will miss in the noise of abundance. There is intimacy with your Creator here that you will long for when the distractions of success come. Treasure the wilderness for what it is, the furnace that refines, the pressure that shapes, the test that qualifies you for the next level. When the time comes and you finally step into your promised land, you will look back and realize that the wilderness was the most important part of your journey. You will see how the tears watered the seeds of your future. You will see how the loneliness taught you to listen to the right voices. You will see how the obstacles became stepping stones. And you will know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you were made ready for this. So if you are walking through the desert right now, do not despair. Keep walking. The sand will not last forever. The heat will not burn you up. The wilderness will end. And when it does, you will not just enter the promised land. You will be able to keep it, to enjoy it, and to use it for the purpose it was always meant to serve. Because there is no promised land without a wilderness, and the wilderness you conquer today will be the story you tell tomorrow. You can't climb higher without letting go of the weight. Try to picture it. You're standing at the bottom of a mountain, your eyes fixed on the peak. You know the view from up there will be breathtaking. You know the air will be pure. You know the reward is worth it. But you're carrying bags full of things. Some you need, but many you don't. Every step you take, the weight drags you down. The straps cut into your shoulders. The climb becomes harder, slower, heavier. You can see the peak, but you're moving too slowly to reach it. And in that moment, you have to make a choice. Do you keep holding on to everything, or do you let go so you can go higher? This is the truth about success. It will always require you to release something. We like the idea of adding things to our lives, more knowledge, more opportunities, more resources. But the real secret is subtraction. The higher you go, the less you can carry. Airplanes take off only when they reach a certain speed, but if they're overloaded with cargo, they can't even leave the ground. You may have everything you think you want in your hands right now, but if it's keeping you from rising, it's not a blessing, it's ballast, and ballast is made to be thrown overboard. Sacrifice is not loss, it's a trade. The problem is, we live in a world that sees sacrifice as suffering. We think that if we let go of something, we've been deprived. But the truth is, you're not giving up something for nothing. You're exchanging it for something greater. When a seed leaves the hand of a farmer and disappears into the soil, it looks like loss. But the farmer knows that it's not gone, it's invested, and that investment will return multiplied. So it is with the sacrifices you make on the climb towards success. Every habit you break, every distraction you cut off, every comfort you set aside, it is all a trade. You are trading temporary ease for lasting achievement. You are trading what feels good now for what will feel right later. There are people who never climb far, not because they lack ability, but because they refuse to release weight. They cling to unhealthy relationships because they fear loneliness. They cling to bad habits because they fear change. They cling to old identities because they fear the unknown. And in clinging to these things, they stop their own ascent. Imagine a rock climber who refuses to release their grip on a lower ledge. they'll never reach the next one. To move higher, you must let go of the one beneath you. That's the law of the climb. Sometimes the weight is not even something bad. It might be something good, but not good for now. You might be holding on to a goal, a role, or an opportunity that was right in the past, but no longer fits where you're going. It's not sin. It's simply season. In one season, it carried you forward. In the next season, it will hold you back. This is why sacrifice is so often misunderstood. People think it's always about giving up bad things, but sometimes it's about giving up good things to make space for the best things. The higher you go, the more the climb changes you. You start to realize that what you thought you needed isn't necessary anymore. The crowds that once celebrated you may not be able to follow you. The comforts that once kept you safe may now keep you stuck. The opinions of people may no longer match the vision God has placed in your heart. And so the climb demands that you release and release again until you are light enough to soar. Here's what makes sacrifice powerful. It proves how much you value the goal. Anyone can talk about wanting success. Anyone can dream of a higher place. But when you start releasing what you love for what you believe in, you show that you are serious. You show that the dream is worth more than the comfort. You show that the vision is worth more than the applause. You show that the mission is worth more than the moment. The greatest achievements in history were made by people who chose to trade the present for the future, the certain for the possible, the easy for the meaningful. But make no mistake, sacrifice is not a one-time act. It is a lifestyle. At every level of the climb, you will be asked again, what are you willing to let go of to go higher? The first step might cost you convenience. The next step might cost you comfort. The next might cost you companionship. And the higher you go, the greater the cost. But so is the view, so is the reward, so is the impact. There is a dangerous lie in our culture that says you can have it all without giving anything up. But try climbing with arms full of luggage and see how far you get. Success doesn't just ask for your talent, it asks for your surrender. It will ask you to release the distractions that consume your time. It will ask you to release the fear that freezes your movement. It will ask you to release the approval of others so you can follow your own path. And each time you release, you rise. Each time you let go, you discover a new strength in your grip, a new endurance in your legs, a new clarity in your eyes. Some of you are stuck right now not because the top is too far, but because your load is too heavy. You've been trying to carry your past into your future, and the mountain won't allow it. The mountain is asking for your obedience, your focus, your willingness to travel light. And the truth is, once you finally drop what's weighing you down, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. You'll feel the freedom of movement, the speed of progress, the joy of momentum. And you'll see that the thing you thought was helping you is actually holding you back. So here's the challenge. Take inventory of your climb. What's in your pack? Whose voices are in your ear? What habits are in your daily life? What fears are hiding in your heart? If it doesn't help you climb, it will hold you down. And if it holds you down, it must be released. This is not loss. This is the sacred exchange. The moment you lay it down, you make room for something greater to be placed in your hands. When you reach the peak, and you will look back and realize that every sacrifice was worth it. You will see that the weight you gave up was nothing compared to the glory you gained. You will see that the trade was not just for something greater, it was for the very thing you were born for. And you will know in your heart that you did not lose a thing. You simply traded up. What you're willing to surrender proves what you're worthy to receive. Life has a way of testing the depth of your desire. Everyone says they want more. More success, more opportunity, more freedom, more impact. But there's a question that echoes back from the heights of every dream. What are you willing to give up to get it? That question separates wishful thinking from determined pursuit. It reveals whether your dream is a passing fantasy or a fire burning in your bones. Because nothing great ever comes into your life without first asking you to lay something down. It's not about punishment. It's about preparation. It's about demonstrating that the thing you're reaching for matters enough to release the things that are holding you back. When you truly desire something, surrender is not loss. It is evidence of worth. You can tell the value a person places on a goal by the price they are willing to pay for it. A student who stays up late to study while others are sleeping is showing how much they value the degree. An athlete who pushes through grueling training sessions while others are relaxing is showing how much they value the championship. A leader who turns down easy, short-term gains for the sake of a bigger vision is showing how much they value the mission. The willingness to surrender is the proof of worthiness, because it means you are ready to invest before you expect to withdraw. The truth is, anyone can talk about wanting success. Words are cheap, dreams are free. But when you start giving up comfort, time, habits, relationships, and resources for the sake of your goal. You separate yourself from the crowd. You show that you are not just wishing, you are working. You are not just hoping, you are proving. Every surrender is like a signature on a contract that says, I am committed, I am invested, I am all in. And until you sign the contract with your actions, the promise will remain a theory instead of a reality. The measure of what you are willing to let go of reveals the size of what you are ready to hold. If you want small things, you can make small sacrifices. But if you want big things, you will have to make big sacrifices. A farmer who plants a few seeds will get a small harvest. But the one who surrenders entire fields to planting will reap in abundance. Your future is proportionate to your surrender. If you give little, you will receive little. If you give much, you will receive much. This is not just a principle of success. It is a law woven into the fabric of life itself. Sometimes the surrender will be tangible. It will be the hours you pour into practice when others are out having fun. It will be the extra shift you work to fund the business you believe in. It will be the investment you make in your education, while others spend freely on entertainment. Other times the surrender will be invisible. It will be the decision to keep going when you feel like quitting. It will be the choice to forgive someone so that bitterness doesn't weigh you down. It will be the discipline to hold your tongue when speaking out might damage your future. In either case, surrender is never wasted. It is always an exchange, and the thing you get in return is always greater than the thing you gave up. There is a reason why surrender is often the dividing line between the successful and the stagnant. Most people want to receive without releasing. They want to take hold of the next level without letting go of the last one. But your hands can only hold so much. If they are full of yesterday's baggage, they cannot grasp tomorrow's blessing. This is why surrender is a signal. It tells the world, and it tells yourself, that you are ready for the next season. It says, I have made room. I have cleared space. I have prepared my life to receive what I am reaching for. Sometimes the hardest things to surrender are the things that feel safest. The old job that pays the bills but crushes your spirit. The relationship that feels familiar but hinders your growth. The habits that bring temporary comfort but rob you of long-term reward. Letting go of these things feels risky because it means stepping into the unknown. But here is the truth: the unknown is where your next level lies. If you cling to what you have now, you may keep it, but you will never know what could have been. And if you release it, you open yourself to the possibility of something far greater than you could imagine. There is also a deeper reason surrender matters. It transforms you. What you give up shapes who you become. Every time you surrender something for the sake of your vision, you strengthen your resolve. You train your mind to prioritize purpose over pleasure. You teach your heart to trust the process, even when it costs you. And as you are transformed, you become the kind of person who can handle the very blessings you seek. Without that transformation, even if you were handed your dream today, you might not have the maturity, resilience, or wisdom to keep it. Surrender is not about proving your worth to others. It's about proving it to yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing you did what was necessary, that you made the choices others wouldn't make, that you stepped away from what was easy so you could step into what was extraordinary. It's about having the courage to say, I will not let my present comfort steal my future calling. Every time you surrender, you build an inner testimony that says, I am worthy of this because I paid the price for it. When the moment comes and you finally receive what you have been chasing, you will feel a depth of satisfaction that no one can take from you. It will not be luck. It will not be chance. It will not be something handed to you without cost. It will be the reward of every late night, every early morning, every no you had to say, every yes you chose when it was hard. You will be able to stand there and say, this is mine because I was willing to surrender for it. I proved I was ready. I proved I was worthy. So ask yourself today, what am I willing to give up for what I want? What am I willing to release to receive something greater? Am I holding on to things that no longer serve my purpose? Am I willing to pay the price that my dream demands? These are not easy questions, but the moment you answer them honestly, you will know exactly how close you are to the life you desire. Because in the end, it will never be your words, your wishes, or even your talent that determines your worthiness. It will be your willingness to surrender. What you release today will determine what you can receive tomorrow. And the greater the surrender, the greater the reward. This is the You Great Victories are always paid for in advance with tears, time, and total commitment. Nobody stumbles into greatness by accident. Nobody wakes up one morning at the top of the mountain without having climbed every painful, exhausting step. The world sees the trophy but not the training. It sees the applause but not the agony. It sees the highlight reel but not the endless hours of discipline that nobody clapped for. Every triumph you admire in someone else has been purchased long before it was ever displayed. It was paid for in hidden places, in private battles, in seasons where quitting seemed easier than continuing, but they refused to let go. If you want something great, you have to pay the price before you see the prize. This is where so many people fall short. They want the victory without the payment. They want to enjoy the reward without enduring the road. But life doesn't work like that. A great marriage is paid for in advance with patience, forgiveness, and consistent effort long before the love story looks picture perfect. A thriving business is paid for with years of work when the profits are small or even non-existent. An Olympic gold medal is paid for in cold mornings, sore muscles, and daily drills while the stands are still empty. The price comes before the prize, and the bigger the dream, the bigger the cost. The price is often paid in tears. Tears are the evidence that you care enough to hurt for it. They are the sign that the dream has captured not just your mind, but your heart. There will be nights when you question everything, when the weight of the work feels unbearable, when you wonder if you're wasting your time. In those moments, tears will come. And those tears are not weakness. They are water for the soil where your dream is planted. Every tear shed in the pursuit of something greater soaks into the ground and prepares the harvest. People may never see them, but they will feel their impact when your victory finally comes. The price is also paid in time. Time is the most valuable thing you have, because once it's spent, you can't get it back. If you want greatness, you must be willing to invest your time with precision and purpose. It means saying no to distractions, even good ones, so you can focus on what matters most. It means showing up when you're tired, practicing when others are resting, and staying the course when everyone else moves on to something easier. Time is the currency of achievement, and the ones who spend it wisely are the ones who see the payoff. Every hour invested builds toward the moment when the door finally opens. And then there is total commitment, the part of the price most people are unwilling to pay. Total commitment means you are in all the way. It means there's no plan B, no escape route, no half effort. It means you're willing to keep going when it stops being fun, when it gets messy, when it feels like nothing is working. Commitment is the glue that holds you together when motivation fades. Anyone can start something with excitement, but only those who are fully committed will finish when it gets hard. And make no mistake, it will get hard. The path to victory always does. That's why total commitment is not just helpful. It's necessary. Think of every great breakthrough you know about in history, in sports, in business, in faith. Behind it, you will find someone who decided in advance that they would pay whatever it cost. They didn't wait for convenience. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. And they didn't let difficulty talk them out of it. They decided first, then they endured. They paid in tears and time, and in an unshakable commitment to see it through. And when their moment came, it looked sudden to the outside world, but it was never sudden to them. They had been paying for it all along. The danger in our world today is that we see the result without the process. Social media shows us the finished product without the years of invisible work. And so people think they can skip the price and still get the prize. But shortcuts always lead to dead ends. When you try to bypass the process, you rob yourself of the growth that makes you capable of handling the victory when it comes. Great victories demand not just skill, but the strength, humility, and wisdom that only come from the journey. That's why the payment comes first. It's not just buying the victory, it's building the person who can carry it. The payment is not glamorous. It happens when nobody is watching, in places nobody applauds. It's in the early mornings when you get up before the sun to work on your craft. It's in the late nights when you're still grinding after everyone else has gone home. It's in the sacrifices you make that nobody understands, the discipline you keep when nobody else holds you accountable. And it's in those moments when you feel invisible that the foundation of your victory is being laid. When the day of triumph comes, it will stand strong because it was built on the back of your unseen effort. So if you are in the middle of paying the price right now, if you are spending your time shedding your tears, and holding on to your commitment when it would be easier to quit, don't despise this season. It is the proof that you are on the right path. Every hour you invest, every emotion you pour in, every decision you make to stay faithful is putting another brick in the wall of your victory. The harder the fight, the sweeter the reward will taste. And when you stand in that moment of victory, it will mean more because you know you paid for it in full. One day, people will see you succeed and call you lucky. They will say you were in the right place at the right time. They will credit things you cannot control, but you will know the truth. You will know that your victory was not luck, it was a long, steady payment plan. You will remember the sleepless nights, the lonely work, the moments of doubt you fought through. You will remember the tears, the time, and the total commitment. and you will stand there knowing, I paid for this in advance. So do not hold back. If the victory is worth it to you, pay the price now. Give your time, pour out your heart, lock in your commitment, refuse to be halfway in, refuse to quit when it hurts, refuse to look for shortcuts. Every tear is worth it. Every hour is worth it. Every ounce of commitment is worth it. Great victories don't come to those who want them. They come to those who pay for them. And if you're willing to pay in advance, there is nothing life can withhold from you. An unshakable truth. What you're willing to surrender proves what you're worthy to receive. Your dream is alive, but it's waiting for you to die to lesser things. That dream inside you, that vision that stirs your soul, is not dead. It hasn't gone away. It hasn't been erased. And it hasn't been forgotten. It's still there, beating quietly like a heart beneath the surface. But it will not come to life fully until you are willing to lay down the things that are smaller than your calling. And make no mistake, lesser things are the greatest enemy of greater things, not because they are evil, but because they are enough to keep you from the best. You cannot fully embrace your destiny while holding tightly to distractions, habits, or comforts that are beneath the level you are called to. The truth is, the dream is not the problem. The problem is the competition for your focus. Every day you have a choice between what is urgent and what is important, between what is comfortable and what is necessary, between what gives you immediate pleasure and what will bring you lasting purpose. And until you learn to die to the lesser things, the greater thing will stay just out of reach. Dying to lesser things means saying no to what does not serve the future you're building. It's letting go of the short-term gain so you can have the long-term reward. It's turning away from opportunities that don't align with your purpose, even if they look good in the moment. It's refusing to waste your strength on battles that don't matter. Lesser things will drain your energy, consume your attention, and keep you locked in cycles that lead nowhere. And every ounce of energy you spend on them is energy you could have spent building your dream. The tragedy for so many is that they think they can have both. They think they can hold on to the lesser and still reach the greater. They believe they can keep every comfort, every distraction, every unnecessary relationship, and still rise into their destiny. But destiny requires space. It demands room to grow. And if your life is cluttered with the small, there will be no space for the great. Think of a tree planted in a small pot. It can only grow so much before its roots are trapped. To grow into its full potential, it must be replanted into a larger space. In the same way, you must uproot yourself from the soil of lesser things so your dream can expand. Some of the things you'll have to die to aren't bad in themselves. They're just not for you anymore. A way of thinking that worked for the person you used to be will not work for the person you are becoming. The circles you once fit in may no longer fit the size of your vision. The routines that once felt safe may now feel suffocating. And if you hold on to them out of fear or nostalgia, you will end up sacrificing your future for your past. There is a cost to holding on to lesser things, and that cost is your dream staying dormant. The hardest part about dying to lesser things is that they often feel comfortable. They are familiar. They are easy. Letting go means stepping into the unknown, where nothing is guaranteed and everything is tested. But that's exactly why it's necessary. Greater things require a greater version of you, and that version cannot be born while you're still feeding the old version. You must allow certain habits to die. You must let certain excuses die. You must bury the need for approval, the addiction to comfort, and the fear of change. Because the moment you do, you make room for your dream to breathe. Think of every great breakthrough in history. Behind it, you will find someone who is willing to let go of good things to reach for great things. They walked away from security to pursue a calling. They gave up the applause of the crowd to stay true to their mission. They shut out distractions so they could hear the voice of purpose more clearly. They were willing to disappoint people to be faithful to their vision. And because they died to lesser things, their dream came alive, not in part, but in full force. Your dream is alive, but it's patient. It's waiting for you to prove you're ready. It's waiting for you to show that you won't keep running back to the things that waste your time, numb your passion, and dilute your focus. It's waiting for you to close the door to the past so the door to the future can swing open. The dream isn't the one that's holding back, it's you. And the moment you decide that nothing else matters more than seeing it fulfilled, you will feel the shift. Sometimes dying to lesser things will cost you relationships. Not everyone can walk with you into the greater season. Some will try to keep you in the comfort zone because that's where they feel safe. Some will try to pull you back because they can't imagine life beyond the familiar. You have to love them enough to let them go, not out of anger, but out of commitment to your calling. Because if you stay where they are, you will never step into where you're meant to be. Sometimes it will cost you the approval of people. People love you when you fit their expectations. But the moment you start chasing something bigger, they will question you, criticize you, even distance themselves from you. That's the price of vision. You have to choose it over validation. You have to be willing to walk alone for a season so you can walk in purpose for a lifetime. And sometimes dying to lesser things will cost you your own pride. You'll have to admit you've been holding on to things you've outgrown. You'll have to confess that you've been spending your energy on things that don't matter. That kind of honesty is painful, but it's also freeing. Because once you face it, you can change it. And once you change it, you unlock the next level of your life. When you finally let the lesser things die, you will feel it immediately. You will feel lighter. You will think clearer. You will move faster, and you will notice that the opportunities, ideas, and breakthroughs that once seemed out of reach are now within your grasp. The dream didn't suddenly appear. It was there all along. It was just waiting for you to make room. So I ask you today, what lesser things are standing between you and your dream? What comforts are keeping you from your calling? What distractions are robbing your destiny? And are you willing to let them go so something greater can live? Your dream is not gone. It is not lost. It is alive and it is waiting. But it will only step forward when you are willing to bury everything that belongs to a smaller life. Because the greater version of you cannot be born until the lesser version of you is gone. And the sooner you die to lesser things, the sooner your dream will rise. Every blessing is hidden behind a barrier that only sacrifice can unlock. Life has a way of placing the greatest rewards just out of easy reach. Not because they are meant to tease you, but because they are meant to transform you. If blessings were handed out without cost, they would never be valued. If dreams were realized without effort, they would never shape us into the people we need to become to carry them. That's why the greatest blessings are guarded, not by chance, but by barriers. And those barriers do not yield to talent. They do not fall before wishful thinking, and they do not move for half-hearted effort. They only bow to sacrifice. Sacrifice is the master key to the locked doors of life. It is the act that says, I want this enough to give up something else for it. It's the proof of desire, the test of commitment, and the seal of authenticity on your pursuit. Many people knock on the door of blessing with nothing but hope, and when it does not open, they assume they have been denied, but they have not been denied. They have simply not paid the price. Blessings demand a transaction, not with money, but with pieces of yourself. You trade time, energy, comfort, and certainty for the future you long for. And the greater the blessing, the greater the price. When you think about the barriers in front of you right now, you might see them as unfair, as obstacles meant to keep you out. But in truth, they are not walls to imprison you. They are gates to protect the blessing. They stand there to ensure that only the one who is truly committed will enter. It's like the difference between a stranger at the door and a family member with the key. The key proves relationship, investment, and trust. In the same way, sacrifice proves to life, to God, and even to yourself that you are ready to handle what's on the other side. The hard truth is, many never reach their blessings because they stop at the barrier. They see the locked door and turn back, telling themselves it must not be meant for them. But blessings are not for those who simply wish. They are for those who are willing to give. And giving means you may have to walk away from what is comfortable. You may have to let go of what is good to take hold of what is great. You may have to say no to things that others indulge in because your focus is sharper, your vision is bigger, and your heart is set on something higher. This is why sacrifice feels painful, because it is the tearing away of what is familiar. It is the refusal to stay where you are, even if where you are is easy. It is the decision to invest deeply in something you cannot yet see, trusting that the reward will be worth the cost. And the barrier will always test your resolve. It will push you to the point of asking, is this really worth it? And that question is not meant to discourage you, it's meant to refine you. Because the blessing will require not only your effort, but your endurance. It is not enough to start. You must keep going until the barrier falls. Think of the stories of those who reach greatness in any field. Every one of them faced barriers, rejection, failure, ridicule, poverty, loss. But each time they met one of those barriers, they reached into the deep reserves of sacrifice. They gave more time. They risked more comfort. They invested more energy. They chose to keep moving when it would have been easier to stop. And because they paid the price, the door opened. Their blessing was unlocked not by luck, not by mere opportunity, but by sacrifice. Sometimes the sacrifice will be visible to others. The late nights, the hard work, the extra miles you travel when no one is watching. Other times it will be invisible. The inner battles you fight, the fears you confront, the doubts you silence. But visible or invisible, each act of sacrifice is another turn of the key in the lock. And one day, after enough turns, The lock will click open and the barrier will be gone. It's also important to understand that the sacrifice is not just about unlocking the blessing. It is about preparing you to hold it. A blessing given to someone unprepared can become a burden. Without the sacrifice, the character needed to sustain the blessing is not developed. Sacrifice molds you. It strips away laziness, entitlement, and impatience. It strengthens discipline, gratitude, and resilience. By the time the door opens, you are not just someone who wanted the blessing. You are someone who can protect it, multiply it, and honor it. The barrier is not there to punish you. It's there to protect what you're asking for. Imagine someone handing you a treasure chest without first teaching you how to guard it. In a short time, you'd lose it or squander it. But when you have sacrificed for something, you cherish it. You treat it differently because you know the cost. That's why the blessing is locked in the first place, so that only those who have proven their value for it through sacrifice can receive it. If you're facing a barrier right now, the question you must ask yourself is simple. What am I willing to give up to get through? And when you answer, you must follow it with action. If you're willing to give your time, then give it without hesitation. If you're willing to give your comfort, then step out of it without delay. If you're willing to give your pride, then lay it down without looking back. The barrier doesn't care about your words. It responds to your sacrifice. It will not be easy. It will test every part of you. There will be moments you want to walk away, moments you question if the blessing is even real. But those who push past those moments, who refuse to quit, who keep sacrificing until the barrier moves, will see what others never will. They will stand on the other side and realize that every tear, every long night, every moment of letting go was worth it. Because when you finally receive what you've been working for, the joy will not just be in the blessing itself. It will be in knowing you earned it, you fought for it, and you gave enough of yourself to prove you were worthy of it. So I challenge you, stop waiting for the barrier to disappear. It will not move for hope alone. It will not fall for half effort. It will not crumble for someone who refuses to give. Take the key of sacrifice and put it into the lock. Turn again and again with patience and persistence. And when the moment comes that the door opens, you will not only step into your blessing, you will step into the person you were always meant to be.